So let's create an example for writing files, in particular text files. So we're going to start by a council application. We're going to call it file write, and I want you to note where it's stored on my D drive, on sources and repos, and going to click next. We're going to use .NET version 5 for this example, and we're going to wait until Visual Studio creates our blank project. Now there's two types of files. There is either text files or binary files. In this example, it's going to be text files. So the first thing that you need to do is to import system.io. So IO stands for input output, and it contains all the necessary libraries that you need to read and write files. And for this example, we're just going to do some writing. Now let's do this. There's a couple of ways. The first one I'm going to use is using the stream writer. So stream writer, and I'm going to call it SW is equal to new stream writer. And what I do over here, and I need to specify a name. So I need to specify a name of the stream or a string for a path. So if you look at this overloaded method, initializes a new instance of stream writer class to the specified file by using the default encoding and buffer size. So the default encoding in Windows over here, and I'm just going to name the file test.txt. Let's talk about a couple of examples of what's going on. So I'm going to execute, which is Control F5. That's what I did. So it's executing, building. The hello world basically happens after we do that. So nothing happens over here, nothing visual, but we have to go to the File Explorer. So I'm going to open my File Explorer to my D drive over here, and I'm going to go to Sources. I know you can't see what I'm doing. Let me show you. To Repos. And inside over here, I'm going to have, where did it go? I'm going to have let me sort it by date, file write, and I'm going to have inside file write, inside the binary directory, inside debug, inside .NET 5, I'm going to have test.txt. And you can see the file size is 0 kilobytes, and if I look at the properties, it has 0 bytes. Why is that? Because we did not write anything to it. Now, when dealing with files, let me put this aside. When dealing with files, you have to know that there are three things that you need to do. So open the file, that's the first thing. So the three things that you need to do is, one, open the file, whether for read and write, and then either read or write the file. And then the third thing that you need to do is to close the file. That is something that a lot of people miss to do, and I'm going to show you an example what happens if you miss to do it, and how the operating system is going to react for that. Let's do this. First of all, let me write to the file. So write whatever. I'm going to write a line over here. This is a line. And at the end, as I said, I'm going to close the file. So I'm going to use a method called close that is basically of this reference over here. And instead of hello world, I'm going to say all done. I'm going to execute, and what you're going to see is that since it's all done, you're going to see the following. And I'm going to bring the file browser over here again. You're going to see this test over here. If I double click on it, it's going to say this is a line because that's what we wrote in it, and the file size is 1 kilo. So 1 kilo is not accurate. What I'm going to show you is the properties over here, and you're going to see that the file size is 16 bytes because every character takes a byte. And if you look at the code over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But we have white spaces, so 12, 13, and 14. So a space takes a space. So this white space actually takes a space. And that's why this is 14 bytes over here. So that means that this is 14 bytes. So you have to know this stuff. And lastly, we close the file. The other thing I want to show you is that what happens if we run this example again. So we have scenarios. We have the scenario. I'm going to run it again and again and again. What does happen? Do we actually write multiple lines, or do we overwrite? In this particular example, we actually we actually overwrite, and we only have one line. We don't have more than a line over here. So this is something that you need to take to consider when you're manipulating files. Is there a way to write to the end? Yes, there is. It's a different way to create files, and I'm going to show you in a bit. So if you want to write multiple things, you can write multiple things very easily. One way to do it is to create an array of strings and then write to that file, so whatever file that you want. Before we do that, let me show you that if I change this to a bin, for example, and somebody would say, well, this is a binary, and I execute, and I'm going to show you what happened. When I execute it, I have this test.bin. Is this a binary? It says bin file over here. It's still, guys, it's still a text file, regardless of what the extension is. So if I open Notepad over here, and I go and I drag and drop, it's going to be, this is a line. Let me do it even something more outrageous and change it to an exe. Is this still going to work? Let me show you what happens. Now I have another one called test.exe. Is this, Windows is saying this is an application. We fooled Windows because this is not actually an application. It's a text file, because we know that if I'm going to do the same thing, I'm going to just drag and drop and it's going to say this is a line. If it's actually an executable like this over here, it's going to be rubbish, because Notepad cannot display binaries, cannot display the binary that we need. So this is actually a text file, even though the execution, the extension is an exe. You know what? You can take all the extension off and do it like this with a test and close it and look at it, guys. It says test. What kind of file? Just a file. Even Windows is saying it's a file. And I can delete all of these and start over again, and let me put it as a text. So keep in mind that the stream writer over here creates a text file. Creates a text file. So if that's something that, if you want to create a binary, that's another video, not this one, guys. But let's talk about how to write other lines and other ways to create a file. Before I do that, this is one of the reasons. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something. I need to show you this example. I'm going to write console.read key. So I put this line of code before I closed. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to execute, and again, nothing happens until I press it. But I'm going to go to my file folder, and I'm going to say that we have this text or test.txt over here, and I'm going to open it, and still nothing is in it. Nothing is in it because I did not close it. So once I hit any key over here and I go back to it, you're going to see this is a line written in it. Let me try this again. Let me delete this guy and re-execute again. And I want you to see my file folder. So we have test. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to delete text. So I'm going to press on this delete button. Here's what it's going to tell me. Close the file. The action cannot be completed because the file is open in FileWrite. FileWrite is the name of my program, which is this program over here. It's called FileWrite. So it's telling me that I cannot delete this file because it's already locked by another program. So I need over here to finish the program like this and then try again. Yeah, now it's deleted. So that's why you need to close every single time, because once you close, you are allowing other processes or programs to manipulate the file. So that is something important that you need to understand. Another way that I can create a file, let me just leave this over here, is equal to file.create text. So create text is a static method of the class file that returns a stream writer over here. And I'm going to do the same thing. So basically I'm going to create this guy over here, and I'm going to put it over here. I don't want this guy anymore. So this is another way of creating a file. Why is this different? This file class has a lot of methods to manipulate read and write that make your life somewhat easier. If you look at the output is going to be the same. So we're going to have this text file over here. But the nice thing about this class, it has other methods. So instead of create, I'm going to say, and I'm going to show you, append text. So append text, again, creates a stream writer that appends the encoded text to an existing file. And if that file doesn't exist, a new file, if the specified file does not exist. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to do an append text like this. And I'm going to execute 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And remember, we already have the file existing. So if I open it, you're going to see multiple lines. Because every time every time I executed the program, what happened is that I appended the text over here. So this is what happens when you append. Do we have other stuff that we can do? Yes, and I'll leave that in the file creation. So what you do is that you highlight and you on your keyboard press F1, and a window browser like this one, I'm using Firefox, is going to launch with the help for that class, which is the file class, with all the methods specified. Basically, you can append, you can open for reading, you can open for writing, you can actually delete if you want to delete. Where is the delete? It's a delete over here, which is deletes a specified file. Remember, all of these methods might make an exception, might return an exception actually, or throw an exception if something wrong doesn't work. One other thing that you might do, and I'm just looking, I just saw something really quick. So in the right, I saw write all, or write, so you can see this one, write all lines, and there is more than one. So write all lines and write all text. So create a new file, write the specified text. So if it's only one thing that you want to create, so in this, if you look at it, it returns a void. So I don't need even this guy. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say write all text. And write all text actually takes 2 parameters, which is the path, and the path is this guy. And then, and I'm just going to do this. This is a test. So write all texts. If you read the help, creates a new file. So just by invoking this method, it does creation the file, writing whatever string that you want to write, and then closing the file. It's so awesome. It does all of this for you. So it creates this file, writes the text, and then it closes the file for you. So it does all 3 operations. So if I go to my file and I just execute it, you'll see this guy over here. Can I write more than 1 line? Yeah, you can put it into what's it called, into an array. So string str equal to this another something else, and there's a method write all, and I want to write all let me check it out over in the help again, because I just saw it a minute ago. And this is what we do as programmers. We go ahead and check what's going on. So we have write all lines. Okay, got you. Write all lines. Okay, and this, the second argument, if you look at it, the write all lines takes an array. Can you see the notion? So it takes an array over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this str array because it's an array. And now when I execute, and I'm just executing, I'm going to go to my file and just look at it. It's going to write this, another something else. So each one of these is on a line by itself. And this is something nice that we can do as well. Now, let's talk about, again, I'm going to go back to creating files. So stream writer sw is equal file dot create text, and I'm gonna give it test dot text, and like that. What if I want to create it and sw, I need to do write line, this is a test. Okay, and what if I want to create it somewhere else, like on my C drive? I can't do like this because this is a problem. What C# is going to see is that this guy over here, this guy, has to be followed by an escape character, and T is an escaped character. Let's call the file killer.com or .text, I'm sorry. So killer.text over here is going to be /t, and we're going to have /k, and we're going to have a problem because a k is not escape sequence. So in order to do this, we can basically make it easy and put another slash. And so if we have a file like this one, if I want to create a file over here, I need to copy and paste all of this path and put it over, and I'm going to put it on a new line because it's going to be long, and put it over here, guys. Look, // so D drive /sources /repos /file writer /whatever. So, and when I pasted, Visual Studio put the extra slash, because if you look over here, there's a single slash, not two slashes, just a single slash. But Visual Studio is smart enough to know that I just copied a path and it did that. This is a bad habit of programming, never do that. What you need to do is basically some kind of relative path. This is what is called a physical path, because if this physical path exists on your computer, it doesn't mean it's going to exist on somebody else's computer. So what we do, we have a bunch of other ways to do it. But before I get there, in order to eliminate the double slash, one can use the @ sign, and the @ sign makes your life easy. The @ sign will actually let you put a single slash over here, and that slash is not going to be interpreted as an escape sequence. It's going to be interpreted as, hey, it's a slash, it's part of the string. So this @ sign is a lifesaver when it comes into the .NET framework, and it's used. This is C#, but it's also in Visual Basic .NET. It's the same story. Now, I told you that what if I want to put the file inside this text over here? I don't want to put it over here. Let me delete it. I want to put it inside this directory over here. Well, all you have to do is just remove all of this. Now it's inside file write killer, and let me show you. If I don't have it right now, but if I execute, I just want to execute and go over here. It's over here. That's awesome. I just changed the location of the file. Again, let me execute and show you, and over here, and it's created over here. Let me delete it really quick because I want to show you this is not the correct way of doing it. You want to say that, hey, I want to create this file. It's originally created over here. But over here, if you want to put it inside this folder rather than this folder, you have to go 1, 2, 3 steps up. And to go a step up in programming, in specifying a file path, you do a dot, the other slash, dot, other slash, and dot, other slash. So you're going one directory up, one directory up, one directory. Directory means folder. So if I execute, again, it's over here. Let me show you. If I execute, it's going to be over here. What happens if I just put it like this? If I execute, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that you won't see it over here. You have to actually go inside bin, because I just went 2 directories up, not 3. This is useful. Let's say that I want to create a new folder called over here data. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put /dot and then data / like this. So it's saying that execute, go up, go up, and then go inside data, and then write this file over here. So let me show you. If I'm going to execute, so data right now doesn't have anything, but if I'm going to execute like this, and I'm going to go inside data, so we have killer.text. So now we have this file and this folder, and inside of it there's a file. This is one of the things that I want to show you in writing files. I know this is a longer video, but there's so many things that you can do, but this is some of the stuff that I want to show you over here. If you have any questions, please do ask in the comments, any concerns, and I'll do answer them.